Hello, how are you doing today? As you know that in last video I posted that I was going to buy Sony A7 III, and I actually pre-ordered it on B&H. And ever since I pre-ordered it, I'm having second thoughts about the camera. It's more or less like a buyer's remorse, but it's back ordered, so I'm not going to get it anytime soon. And the problem is that on 31st or 30th I'm leaving for Denmark to cover KubeCon, and once I come back I'll be going to Red Hat Summit. I talked to B&H and they said that the camera cannot be delivered before 30th because 30th is the date when what Sony has given them for the shipment. So I will not be able to bring the camera with me. I currently have GH5S and GH5, so I'll be bringing those two cameras, and I have three lenses. One is Nocticron 42.5. Then I have 12mm 1.4 that I'm shooting with, and the third one that I have is 12 to 35mm 2.8. And this is the lenses that I use, and the combo that I use is, I've talked about it with the three cameras. With Sony, the problem that I face is that first of all I'll have to invest in lenses, and I'm trying to be realistic that what kind of lens do I really need. So first of all, that Nocticron 42.5 will be for the guest, so that I can shoot the guest with a very tight focus and very sharp. I was currently using 12 to 35mm, and it's super sharp lens, as you can see in the videos here that I have posted a link. And 12mm, which is once again very fast lens, I was using for wide angle shot to capture the guest. So I was thinking that okay, if I do get Sony A7 III, what kind of lens I should get. And since I was thinking about that camera as for a couple of things. One was low light performance, second was to be able to shoot slow motion with autofocus, and autofocusing was primary the reason why I was planning to get that camera. And I was thinking that, what are the use cases that I could use it? So I was thinking about maybe using it for guests or for myself with a tight focus, because it has autofocus feature. But the problem is it doesn't have a flip ISO screen. So unlike Panasonic GH5, where I can see what I'm shooting, I can see the recording status, I can see the audio level, I won't be able to see any of those on Sony A7 III because it does not have a flip auto screen. And if I use a tethering app on my mobile phone, which I will use instead of getting an HD monitor, which would cost me another $500, the problem is that the face detection, from whatever I've heard, because I don't have a camera, so I don't know, face detection does not work when you use either the app or the HD monitor with it. So the whole reason I was getting that camera was so that I can set it as face detection for the guest, and I can record it. If I cannot control face detection while using the Wi-Fi app or HD monitor, it defies the whole purpose of why I'm getting this camera. The second possibility is that I don't use the app, and I simply go behind the camera, hit the record button, come in front of camera, and start recording, hoping that everything will be in focus. Here's the problem. Most of my videos or most of my interviews are between 15 to 20 minutes. Some videos they hit the 29-minute mark. Like in the last events I had 2 interviews that were there, and sometimes it's too close, and the guest is the only thing I don't want to lose the footage from. Though I'll be shooting with multiple cameras, so I really don't mind, because it will be captured on one camera or the other. But the whole point of spending so much money is so that I get the whole footage. So if I set the camera up, go behind the camera, set the focus on guest face, hit the record button, come back, sit in my place, and I'll be using GH5S to capture myself, use the app to set the focus and everything, hit the record button, I will lose roughly 1 minute, not more than that, and start recording. But I don't know if it is recording or not. I'm just leaving everything to guess. It may not be a big issue with vloggers like Peter McConin or even Casey Neistat. They can always reshoot it. But if I'm sitting and recording an interview with Microsoft's CTO for Azure, that's the only opportunity I have. And if I lose the footage, I screw up a whole interview because I don't have the footage. So it's more like leaving a lot to the chances. That's number one big problem. Second problem is expenses, because the camera itself is something around $22,000, and if I really want it to use for low light performance and everything, I will have to get at least 1.8 or 1.4 lens, and none of those lenses, like 85 millimeter f 1.8 is for $540, which is something equal to the 42.5 millimeter Nocticron that I have. Plus, I have to spend almost $80 on a battery, extra battery, and almost $90 on the charger. So I'll have to spend another $550, $600, $700, at least $700 on the lens and accessory. And I'm getting a very tight focus lens, which I can use only in certain conditions. I cannot use that lens for the reason I wanted to buy this camera. One was that autofocusing for slow motion or taking wide shots with autofocusing when I'm going around. I won't be able to do that with that lens. That means that I will have to buy either a lens which has variable, which means 24 to 70 millimeter, and 24 to 70 millimeter 2.8 is roughly around $2,200 for 2.8. Or I can get with f4, which would be cheaper. f4 is for something around $900. But then I won't be able to do a lot of work in the low light conditions. So the whole point is that this is the excitement has gone. Now I'm being realistic. So the reason was I wanted to buy it. One was low light. Second was so that I'll make able to shoot those slow motion shots, which once again needs a wide angle lens. Third was autofocusing for interviews. So if I need a wide angle lens, that would be 2.8. That would mean how much money? Where was the lens again? Sony, $2,200. So $2,200 for the lens and $2,000 for the camera, plus roughly $200 for the accessories. So I'm looking at roughly $4,300 for everything. And then I will have to invest further in buying the lenses. But even with that lens, it's not a sharpest lens, it's 2.8. So it will leave a lot to be desired in low light conditions. I used to have Nikon 50mm 1.4, and it was not able to shoot in low light conditions. I had to use a flash, and that was Nikon D750, which was a good camera. So I'm kind of worried and nervous that whether I'm going to get the value out of this $4,300 or not. Plus, as I said, I won't be able to use face detection with my guest. I will have to leave everything to guesses, which I cannot afford. So, should I really buy Sony A7 III or should I cancel the order? I am kind of addicted to the 3 camera setup, where one camera is looking at my guest, one camera is looking at me, and one camera is capturing both of us. So in either case, if there is a failure, I do have 2 different kind of footage to work with. Should I simply get Panasonic GH5? I mean, I have one Panasonic GH5. Should I get one more? So at least what will happen is that these 3 cameras, GH5S and 2 GH5, will give me the kind of triplet or trio of fully functional professional setup. And since I already have 3 lenses, so for $2,000 I will get another camera that will shoot non-stop forever, as long as you have the SD card. It will share the same battery, it will share the same lenses. Yes, low light performance is not good. Yes, autofocusing is not good, but I can always use my mobile app to tether and keep the focus on my guest, and that's what I have been doing so far. I will save $2,300, and that $2,300 I can maybe save for the Black Magic that comes out later this year, or maybe I can buy more lenses, or maybe if I really want such low light condition, I can get Sony when I need it. So what I have to really focus right now is not about what Sony A7 III has to offer, but it's more about what I need, and what I think I need is, number 1, flexibility to be able to record as long as I need. Number 2 is able to see what I'm shooting with or without the app. Number 3 is being able to control focus via app. I don't even know whether app can help in focusing, because from what I know is that when you are shooting, because the screen is not fully functional, I don't know what operating system they are using on these Sony cameras. So from the videos that I've seen is that when you want to focus on something, you touch a screen on that object and then hit the shutter button, so it will focus on that. So I don't know whether you can use the app to even focus on your guest. So I as I said, it's too tight. So I'm thinking of either go to Denmark without 3rd camera, just take these 2 cameras and see how things pans out, and later on order the camera from B&H, play with the camera and see if really works, because most of the time these YouTube videos, these YouTubers, they don't give out all the enough information. I mean, they're not trained journalists who are kind of trained to look at all the aspects. They just they're vloggers, so that's a problem. And so that's what it is right now. So I'm kind of split. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Have you played with Sony A7 III? Do you think which Sony A7 III makes sense in my use case, or should I just stick with Panasonic cameras and just get the 3rd camera, so that okay, these are the 3 cameras that I need for my video setup, is done, I don't worry about it, and then maybe if I need in future, maybe I can get another camera. And then Panasonic is working on organic sensor, which may improve low light conditions and all those things. And in the next camera, since GH5 and GH5S, they got a lot of beating for autofocusing, maybe they will improve it. Though I must add that I was really impressed with the autofocusing of G9, and it has everything that you need in a camera: flip out a screen, remote control, same batteries, dual slot. It's not very good at low light conditions, but it's good at everything else. The only limitation of the camera is 30 minutes record time. It cannot shoot more than 30 minutes even in 1080p or 4K. So that's what it is. So I had G9, I sent it back because I said 30 minutes record limit was kind of breaking me, and I was thinking about getting Sony AR7 with a better, I don't know why I keep saying AR7s, Sony A7 III. So I have only 2 days. So either I order GH5 and bring it with me to Denmark, or I just bring these 2 cameras and use the 2 camera setup for now and see how things work out. Get Sony A7 III and actually play with the camera, because maybe a lot of YouTubers, they're not telling how it actually works, because they're like mixed feelings about it. So that's where I'm stuck, and that's when I'm posting this video. Sorry that it's long. It should not be more than 5 minutes, but I'm sorry it's almost 17 minutes. So here it is. Just let me know, what do you think? What should I do? Thanks for listening. Next video will not be as to be or not to be kind. It will be more, I may be talking about Mac OS in the next video, but just let me know what you think and help me out here. Thank you.